You're good at it. Everyone says so. Your boss calls you the go-to person. Your friends ask for your advice. You've put in the years. You've done the reps. And now, right now, at the peak of your competence, you want out. Not burnt out. Not bored. Something worse. You sit down to do the thing you're supposed to be best at, and a wave of dread hits you. You stall. You find reasons not to start. You quietly fantasize about quitting and starting over as someone who knows nothing, because somehow that sounds like relief. That's the part you can't say out loud, because who quits when they're finally winning? This video is about that feeling, not the burnout narrative, not the hustle culture crash. This is about a specific, strange, deeply human thing that happens when you get good at something, and why your nervous system starts treating your own competence like a threat. Stay with me. This one goes deep. The story you've told yourself is that something is wrong with you. You're ungrateful, self-destructive, you have commitment issues, you finally get what you wanted, and then you poison it. Here's the truth. You're not broken. You're adapted. Think back. At some point early on, maybe in school, maybe at home, being the capable one came with a cost. You were the reliable kid, the one who handled things. And because you handled things, more came. More expectations. More weight. More watching eyes. Being good meant being needed. And being needed meant you were never really allowed to just be. So your nervous system learned something. It learned that peak performance is the start of a trap. That competence is what locks the door from the outside. You don't want to quit because you hate what you do. You want to quit because your body remembers what it cost to be this good, and it's trying to protect you from paying that bill again. There's a concept in psychology called the identity threat response. When our sense of self becomes too tightly fused with our performance, when who we are becomes what we produce, the nervous system treats evaluation as a survival event, not metaphorically, literally. The same threat circuitry that fires when you're physically in danger also fires when someone might judge your work. And here's where it gets specific. When you're bad at something, there's no real risk to your identity. If a beginner fails, they're just learning. Nobody expects otherwise. But when you're known as the expert, every piece of work is a referendum on whether you still deserve that title, whether the reputation holds, and whether the last 10 years were real. So before you even open the laptop, your body runs a cost-benefit calculation. The potential gain, doing good work, is weighed against the potential loss, publicly failing at the thing that defines you. And some days, not starting wins. Because not starting means you can never be proven wrong. That isn't laziness. That's threat avoidance. And you cannot willpower your way out of a threat response. You can only work with it. The 4 faces of competence dread. This pattern doesn't look the same for everyone. It wears 4 different faces. The plateau escaper. They reached mastery, and now they're learning a new skill for the 5th time. Pottery, coding, Spanish, and investing. Every new hobby lasts about 6 months, right until they start getting good. Then the interest dies. They tell themselves they get bored easily. What's actually happening? The moment real evaluation begins, they exit before the verdict comes in. The escape is the protection. The credential collector. Another certification. Another course. Another degree to complete before they finally put the work out. They're never quite ready, and they can prove it mathematically. One more thing to learn, then they'll start. The credentials are real. The avoidance is also real. They've built a permanent scaffolding of not yet, around work that terrifies them precisely because they'd be good at it. The saboteur at the summit. They get the promotion, the client, the opportunity, and then something unravels. They miss the deadline. They underdeliver. They create a crisis. From the outside, it looks like self-destruction. From the inside, it feels like relief. The pressure was unbearable, and now it's gone. Except the cost keeps compounding, and they don't know why they keep doing this, even though they know better. That's the point. They do know better. The body doesn't care. The resentful expert. They're great at their job, genuinely great, and they hate it. Not the work itself, the person they have to be to do it. The version of themselves that shows up polished and composed and endlessly competent. They grieve an earlier, messier, more alive version of themselves that existed before the expertise settled in. The resentment isn't toward the skill, it's toward the cage the skill is built in. Here's what dread is actually trading away. Every time you stall, sabotage, or escape before the evaluation, you confirm the story that says you can't handle being seen at full capacity, that the spotlight will break you, that your competence is fragile and needs protecting. And that story compounds. Research on what psychologists call identity performance fusion shows a clear pattern. The more someone's self-worth is tied to a single domain of performance, the more their creative output contracts as their reputation grows. They produce less, they take fewer risks, they hedge, because the cost of a public miss rises every year. A study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people whose self-concept was heavily domain-specific, meaning their worth depended on one area of skill, showed significantly greater behavioral avoidance when that domain was under evaluation, even when they were objectively outperforming their peers. Competence didn't create confidence. It created more to lose. You're not trading comfort for achievement. You're trading a full, visible life for a smaller, safer, less evaluated one. And the longer you do it, the more the walls close in. The usual advice is useless here. Just ship it. Done is better than perfect. Stop overthinking. That advice frames this as a mindset problem. It's not. It's a nervous system pattern with a decade of evidence behind it. You don't talk yourself out of a body-level threat response with a motivational quote. Here's what actually works. Not overnight, gradually, which is the only way any of this works. 1. Separate the work from the verdict. Before you start anything, say this out loud or write it down. This piece of work is not a vote on whether I deserve my reputation. It sounds obvious. Your body doesn't believe it. You're training new evidence into the system. Do it every time you sit down. 2. Do deliberately imperfect work in a low-stakes space. Write a rough draft you'll never publish. Build something badly on purpose. Teach your body that the world does not end when the capable person produces something rough. This is not busy work. This is evidence collection. 3. Name the escape urge as it happens. When you feel the pull toward a new skill, a new credential, or a distraction, say it plainly. The dread is here. I want to escape because something real is at stake. You don't have to push through. You just have to stop pretending the urge is about boredom. 4. Reconnect with the version of you who did this before the reputation existed. Go back to why you started. The messy, early days when nothing was at stake. Spend time doing the work the way you did it then, sloppily, privately, for no one. You're not regressing. You're reminding your body that the skill belongs to you, not to your image. Here's the thing nobody says. The urge to quit at the peak isn't protecting you from failure. It's protecting a core belief that you are only as safe as your reputation remains intact, that the moment your work is seen clearly and found lacking, you will not survive the loss of what you've built. Quitting keeps that belief safe. It means it can never be tested, and an untested belief never dies. You are not afraid of failing. You are afraid of finding out that even your best wasn't enough, that you gave everything, and it still didn't hold. Staying at the edge of quitting forever is a way to keep that verdict permanently out of reach. But here's the brutal flip side. The verdict you're avoiding is also the approval you're starving for. You won't let the world evaluate you fully, so the world's praise never fully lands. Every compliment bounces off. Every achievement feels hollow, because deep down, you know you didn't actually show up to be seen. The cost of self-protection is a life lived just outside your own story. You are not ungrateful. You are not broken. You are not someone who destroys good things. You are someone whose nervous system learned, at a formative moment, that being the capable one carries a hidden tax, and that the only way to stop paying was to leave before the bill arrived. That was a brilliant adaptation. For then, it is a cage now. The work isn't to stop being good at things. The work is to uncouple your survival from your performance, to be the person who can do excellent work and still exist, fully, safely, even when that work is seen, judged, and found imperfect. That's not a mindset shift. That's a renovation. It takes time. It takes repetition. It takes being willing to do the work badly, in front of people, while your whole body screams to stop. One brick at a time. That's how you rebuild from the inside. What is the one area where you are genuinely most capable? And are you actually showing up there fully, or are you circling it from a safe distance and calling that engagement? If this hits somewhere real, subscribe. Every video on this channel is built around one thing: the precise, unspoken truth of why you do what you do. Not the surface behavior, but the logic underneath it. No filler, no inspiration porn, just the hard, useful stuff. See you there.